Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ceremony award of the first Global Supply Chain Innovation Challenge. For me, it's a pleasure to be with you. My name is Pamela Ugas. I work for the trade facilitation section at ANTAD, and with me, you will meet we will meet my colleagues during the session. So I will very briefly explain what we have for you on the agenda. So first, we will have some introductory words by Jan Hoffman, that is the head of the Trade and Logistics branch. Then we have the latest update on the Global Supply Chain Forum that is taking place in Barbados from the 21st to the 24th of May. After that, we have Maria Polovnikov, that you have for sure received many emails from her. She is going to present the challenge, how we all the process during this last month. And then, and very important, this is the reason why we are here, we are going to hear from the finalists, the 6 finalists, the elevator speech. And at the end, we are going to award and announce the winners. So without further delay, I give the floor to Jan Hoffman. Jan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Pamela, dear colleagues, friends, participants. 3 quick thoughts to get the ball rolling. And sorry if I repeat myself to some of you, I like to say technological progress will never be as slow as today. Is it slow? No, of course it is not slow. It is fast, but it's going to be even faster. What we have seen in terms of challenges coming towards us with political situation, with digitalization, with decarbonization, it's a very fast-moving world around us. So in that context, really happy that this all the credit for the idea initiative goes to Pamela and Maria for having this idea in this context to start this challenge. Second point, having been on the jury with the colleagues and having gone through all the different proposals, I left reading these with really a lot of optimism. Okay, I'm an optimistic person. Always the glass is half full, never half empty, but here it was much, much more than half full. And so many ideas that make me actually optimistic, also encouraging. And it's a bit of a mandate, I think, to all of us working in international organizations to then see if and how we can actually implement and transform and use all these amazing ideas. Third point, of course, I have to say thank you. Thank you to the whole team organizing this Global Supply Chain Forum. Thank you to the host country, long teamwork with them. Thank you to the jury. Pamela will introduce them, but I do want to really personally thank Pamela, Maria, Sabrina, Bismarck, Hide Lobo, and Jan. So we will come back a bit to the decision-making process and the wisdom of the crowd and the different criteria, how it is obviously subjective. So there can unfortunately only be one winner. In a way, I think there are many, many, many winners here. But that big thank you to all those who participated, contributed. So these were my 3 thoughts. Pamela will present the Global Supply Chain Forum itself. I just want to, by way of introduction, say this has turned out, I would say, 3 to 4 times bigger than we had thought, optimistically planned. We are now victims of our success with a lot of work and full agenda, new speaker proposals coming, and we have no more speaker slots. Very, very high level important people, heads of organizations fly in and don't tell them they will only have 3 minutes to speak because it's getting so crowded. But you will see we have the who is who of supply chains in Barbados. There's still time to register. I think we have just been informed like deadline is, what was it, 6th of May or something to register. So you still need to buy your ticket. Registration is free, but you have to fly there and organize your own hotel. So really thank you to the whole team for putting this together, and I will pass on to Pamela to present more details about the first United Nations Global Supply Chain Forum hosted in Barbados. Pamela.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jan, for these introductory words and for the encouragement for the innovators. Actually, yeah, I fully agree, it was very difficult, and we enjoy a lot revising all these amazing proposals that you are going to hear in a minute. But before that, we would like to announce and share with you what we are preparing in Barbados, and we are very excited because, as you know, this conference is very timely. There is a moment that we have a crisis, also a very high cost for trade. So this is actually the Global Supply Chain Forum is born from a request from countries that was expressed by the Prime Minister Mia Mottley. So so what are the objectives of the forum? There are three main objectives. First is transferring knowledge. So we are bringing many organizations, but also private sector. So for the people that really practice trade. And we want to create synergies between them. So we are bringing developing countries, organizations, different stakeholders in supply chain. As Jan mentioned, as Jan said, who is who in supply chain? So all the main actors will be there. And we want to much make for cooperation because we don't want to leave anyone behind. So we are fostering this to making these efforts and come with new initiatives. So very exciting news. We have very high level representative. First, we have our host, Madame Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, and also Rebecca Greenspan, our Secretary General. And then we have 14 head of organizations from different agencies, and 7 ministers, and more are coming in the pipeline. Then, sorry, I should close my meeting. Then we also have different private sector leaders and ministerial roundtable. Sorry, I cannot pass me. Okay, perfect. So far, excuse me for this. So far, we have 101 partners and 57 parallel sessions, 7 high-level sessions, and 137 conference speakers, and there are more also coming. We have 2 technical visits. You will see that all in the agenda, but there are many opportunities for networking, and also we have some exhibitions where you can meet different international organizations and donors. So some outcomes that we are planning for the conference is first is to have a set ministerial declaration that will fit the next conference for SIT that is taking place the week after in Antigua and Barbuda. And then also we want to have with the result of the Supply Chain Innovation Challenge, the winner will come with one of the winners will come with us. And also several technical outcomes and many input for different conferences. So this is actually a broad overview of what we are planning. So we have different high-level sessions, the first and the last day, and we have 4 parallel sessions. Mainly the first one, as you can see, will be mainly focused on climate change, also decarbonization, energy transition. The second one, sorry, this is so the second one will be more on port resilience and port management. The third one the third one will be on digitalization and blockchain, artificial intelligence, and the last one will be on national trade facilitation committees. And as you can see, we will have many opportunities to network and also build connections with different stakeholders from around the world, because there are people coming from the different continents, regions. So it's really a very good opportunity to connect with people. And the participants are very broad. We have policymakers, officers that work at the border, customs officers, for example, private sectors. We have CEOs, academia. We have a lot of professors and many supply chain stakeholders. So please visit our website. You will find there all the information. We update the website every week. So if you want to find out, please visit the website. And if you want to share, don't forget to use the hashtag UN Supply Chain. So some important news is that so far we have over 670 registered participants from 107 countries. So we will have interpretation for selected sessions into English, French, and Spanish. We will have also a live scriber that is going to, try to capture all the good moments and important moments of the conference. And we will launch, well, not only us, but many of the 101 partners. We are going to launch many initiatives. And good news, this is the first one, but there will be more global supply chain forums. So the next one will be announced also in Barbados, will be in Saudi Arabia. So this is all from my side. I will hope that really you join us and you participate in the debate, and please visit our website and register in our platform. So thank you so much. And now I give the floor to Maria.
Thank you so much, Pame. I was trying to find the button to share the wonderful screen with our jury. So the Innovation Challenge was born with the idea, the Supply Chain Innovation Challenge was born because we decided that we wanted to hear what your proposals were on how to make supply chains greener, more efficient, more resilient, more sustainable, and the list goes on and on about all the different objectives that we would like to add to these supply chains. It was a very hard decision to choose our winner, our finalists, but in any case, let me present to you our jury members. First and foremost, we have Jan Hoffman, who gave us the introductory remarks, who was the head of our jury panel. Secondly, we had, Secondly, we have Sabrina Yelmoli, chief from the E-Trade Initiative section, Hidenobu Tokuda, an associate economic affairs officer here at UNCTAD, Thomas Kulaga, associate information systems officer as well at UNCTAD, and Bismarck Sitoros, economic affairs officer in the trade facilitation section, Pamela, and myself, both working also in trade facilitation. So you're probably asking yourselves, how did we select our finalists and how are we going to select how we selected the winner? That's a very good question. And as Jan had mentioned, we were trying to have a very objective matrix, but also to have a wide range of people to make sure that the wisdom of the crowd wins over. So you will see right over here, this is our matrix. We basically tried to figure out in the various proposals, the innovation level that we gave a grade from 0 to 5, feasibility, scalability, sustainability, and resilience. What happened is that each jury member gave a grade from 0 to 5 on each of the proposals for each of these elements. And then we summed up all of the grades, which gave us our winner and our finalists. So this is basically it. I will stop with the bibble babble because I know we're here to see our wonderful finalists. So I will stop sharing my screen. And the first thing that I will do is I will be presenting our first speaker of the day, our first finalist of the day, and that is Millie Ogden. Millie Ogden, she's the founder and CEO of 3Link. She's from Vanuatu, and she sent us a fantastic proposal on smart ports, 5G technology, and renewable energy. Without further ado, Millie, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes to do your elevator pitch. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you today. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, hello everyone. In Vanuatu, we are at the forefront of climate change impact, but I'm very excited to say that though the problems are big, the solutions are local. And we as a small island developing nation, we also have our strength, and we would like to share those strengths with you today. my proposal is about smart ports, 5G technology, and how our renewable energy potential can also provide a net zero capacity for our region. Digitalization has been a hurdle for Vanuatu because of our telecommunication limitation. However, I'm very excited to share that I will be bringing 5G to Vanuatu in 2025. And the solution that I'm speaking to you today will address these following SDG: zero hunger, good health and well-being, SDG 2, SDG 3, SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, SDG 9, industry and innovation infrastructure, and most important for us is actually climate action, and we cannot do it alone. We need partnerships, and that's SDG 17. Our solution is not only available in Vanuatu, but we actually have partnerships to scale in other Pacific Island nations. We have the license to operate in 4 other Pacific Island nations that can target 50% of men and women in hard-to-reach area. And what I'm bringing to you today is actually the implementation of 5G low latency technology that has not been available before, and it was hard to scale to reach the last mile of connectivity. Here we have the operation of what the profitability would look like. This is the marketplace of how 5G has been hard to reach the Pacific Islands, because out of ITU has made a report that only 80 out of 100 developed nations have 5G, but only 1 in 100 have 5G in developing countries. So we very much like to have Vanuatu be number 2 on that list. And that is critical because the 5G that we are bringing is actually very affordable, and we are working with Amazon, Starlink, and other partners to make 5G very affordable and disruptive with a virtual core. And here we have a projection of the opportunity of the sustainability of this network that will revolutionize the way that we digitize in the Pacific region, but specifically for Vanuatu immediately next year. We have the potential, especially in Santo, Luganville, where I'm from, 3rd generation from Santo in the north. And we need this port to work to our advantage. It is one of the deepest ports that we could actually provide access to the region where we can consolidate and be a regional hub. It is very possible. But of course, we are limited by energy constraint, which I will talk about shortly. And the 5G solution that we bring is also very special because it is an open RAN and it is scalable, in which we are not tied to one particular technology or vendor. And most importantly, what the 5G can do is it can actually slice a secure network. And with the limitation of our small population, it would really play to our advantage to have the automated operation in which we have autonomous guided vehicle to manage many of our ports. And here we have a projection of how we can be also very profitable and be able to reach sustainability and cash flow within 1 year. This is our timeline in terms of how we plan to deliver. And actually, Vanuatu, we have a track record already of operating in 4 years with cash flow. So we are cash flow positive, and we have records of working very well with government, provincial government, and also schools and enterprises. However, for our small island nations, it is really not possible to move forward without a sovereign energy source. And Vanuatu, we have 7 active volcanoes, and we have the ability to actually play a role in the renewable energy and net zero energy transition. This is our projection. For our port, we need 10 million to be able to actualize not only with the network, but also with the ability to upgrade our port for our AI and for our equipment. And here is our play. This is the moonshot, but it is very necessary. It's a long-term, long-run project, but it is a necessary step that I hope that the panelists will consider today, because the decisions you make today will affect our region. We are 98% water. We depend on supply chain to be able to access added value, and also added value to our products and also our food. And here again is an example of how our 5G is very secure to be able to protect not only the port, but also the energy production plants that we plan to execute. And here we have a great experienced management team to first utilize their experience in telecom to be able to actualize a very successful smart port for Vanuatu and then scale it to the region. And we have partnerships as well in the hydrogen space. And we are very excited to be able to leapfrog and be able to use the existing technology to be able to actualize many of our dreams. And I hope that you share our dreams today. We have had 4 Category 4 and 5+ cyclones in the past 4 years, 3 in last year, 2 within 2 days of each other. And so our need to accelerate our energy transition is quite urgent. And I hope that you also share with us the vision that though problems are big, solution is local. So from a CIS jurisdiction, thank you for your time. And I hope you share a vision of a prosperous Blue Pacific where we can enable a blue economy in providing protein and renewable energy for our region. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mile, for this very insightful presentation. Just in case, you can ask, for the participants, you can ask your questions. There we have a Q&A chat, and we are going to answer all of them in the chat. So now it's my great pleasure to continue with the next finalist. Her name is Sophie Punte. I don't know if I am pronouncing
Punte, it's okay.
Punte. Okay, thank you so much. She's from the Netherlands, and her proposal was about empowering local communities through supply chain resilience. So, Sophie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to present. Supply chains are the veins of the local global economy. So my proposal is lifelines to empower local communities through supply chain resilience. Trade represents 62% of the world's GDP. But if the weakest link of the supply chain breaks down, all suffer, especially the most vulnerable. And climate change is a growing threat to our supply chains with huge consequences. For example, droughts cost the Panama Canal $100 million income per month. Damage from Hurricane Maria cost the island of Dominica twice its GDP. Insurers lose too, a record $64 billion from extreme weather events last year. And people suffer. The floods in Pakistan, extreme heat in China, droughts in Africa. Crops are lost, factories close. People lose their livelihoods and can't access food. Now imagine that on top of that, supply chains fall over. Countries and people will suffer even more. 9 out of 10 people want climate action. Governments and companies are trying, but their responses to disruptions remain reactive and localized. This is because of market failures. Supply chains are too fragmented, there are short-term priorities like conflicts or inflation, and consumers are less concerned if they don't know where their food and products comes from. For many local communities in the global south, our supply lines are their lifelines. What if we turn these into physical and symbolic connections between suppliers and consumers into a driver of sustainable development? This is why my solution innovation is called Lifelines. Lifelines make supply chains more resilient in the face of climate change and other threats and reduce emissions at the same time. So let me explain in 3 steps. First, you assess the climate risk, such as extreme weather events, droughts, or sea level rises, and the impacts. For example, a Kenyan farmer and a European food retailer both lose income if vegetables remain stuck in a port after a storm. Second, you identify the weakest link in your supply chain and analyze what response measures could make these stronger. Think of flood protection of ports, better road infrastructure, or emergency alerts for factory or drivers. In parallel, you identify opportunities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which many companies find important. And while you're making a warehouse weatherproof, install solar panels as well. Third, decide together with other supply chain partners how to implement feasible measures and fairly share the costs and benefits. This may in practice mean that the European food retailer co-invests in better roads in Kenya that connect vegetable wholesalers to the port of Mombasa. And they will invest because stronger supply chains are also in their interest. Everyone benefits. Lifelines can strengthen any supply chain. Cotton from India, copper from Chile, cocoa from the Ivory Coast. But to make Lifelines work, we also need a partnership of key stakeholders and initiatives, and a global methodology, ideally IT-driven, for the Lifeline steps: assessment, response, and implementation. Luckily, we can build on existing resilience initiatives and methodologies developed by World Bank, USAID, and others. Strong advocacy can get supply chains higher on the climate, economic, and business agenda. The opportunity is right now because adaptation and finance are already key topics for COP29. Finally, we must raise awareness and build capacity of all stakeholders. I have done this before. When I founded Smart Grid Center in 2013, it took only 3 years to develop a global methodology for logistics emissions accounting, together with companies, initiatives, and other stakeholders. 10 years later, this GLAC framework is used by thousands of companies to track emissions reductions and is embedded in ISO standards, regulations, and investor schemes. So companies want lifelines. A top 3 consumer goods company, a global logistics company, and a leading clothing company all told me that supply chain resilience is already increasing on their radar. On average, 75% of a company emissions are scope 3, including their supply chains, and only 21% of adaptation plans. The Kuhne Foundation will provide seed funding for Lifelines and test it to 3 food supply chains between East Africa and Europe. I joined this contest because with UNCTAD support, supply chain thinking can mobilize scalable and long-term climate solutions. This will help bridge the annual 4.5 to 10 trillion climate finance gap and enable a transfer of funds from developed to developing countries. Imagine if we succeed. Lifelines can create greener, more efficient, and resilient supply chains. Everybody wins. Local communities, farmers, governments, companies, insurers, development agencies, consumers, everybody. We can make supply chains a force for good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sophie. If you would like to see the bios of our fantastic finalists, don't hesitate to go on our website. We'll ask our colleagues to send it via the chat. So without further ado, I will be presenting now our 3rd finalist of the day. And a little birdie has told me that she unfortunately has some issues with her connection. So bear with us if the camera stops working or if it doesn't work altogether. So I present to you Tadiwanashe Mutigura. She's from Zimbabwe. She's a trainee at Imbux Microbank Limited, and she gave us a wonderful proposal as well on solar-powered locker-sized booths for small-scale cross-border traders. Without further ado, Tadiwa, I hope you've managed to connect and that everything is working on your end.
I hope so too. Thank you very much, Maria.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tadiwa, and I'll be presenting on the solar-powered booths. Under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, one of the aims is to increase intra-African trade values by at least 15% to around 50 billion by 2040, thus raising real income by approximately 9%. I firmly believe that this is achievable, but a key area that needs to be addressed as part of reaching these goals is addressing the needs of small-scale cross-border traders, who in the African context form a large part of the informal economy. These traders face a wide range of challenges, from acquiring the money that they need in the currency that they need it, to the prejudices that they face as a result of relying on better developed neighboring countries for their most basic needs. According to the Zimbabwean Cross-Border Traders Association, of the registered 7,000 members, 76% of them are women. And this is a statistic confirmed when you take a stroll down the streets of Harare or anywhere else on a day-to-day basis. As a result of trying to cross the borders as seamlessly as possible, these population groups end up falling through the gaps of the system by either not declaring their goods in full at the borders or finding risky alternative entry and exit points at the border. This results in reduced revenue for the involved countries and higher risk for the participants, namely our cross-border traders. In addition, the data that is supposed to be collected at these entry and exit points remains unreliable and inaccurate. My idea to solve this is the introduction of the solar-powered mini lockers that would be located just outside the land border offices. Imagine your average size metal locker cabinet fitted with an internal scanning system and a simple ATM-style screen to capture the information on the goods. The target groups would be the people whose goods are not too voluminous, which is mainly our small-scale traders whose goods are on average 25 to 50 kgs. Ideally, they'd be able to place their goods into the locker, which would scan the merchandise as a means of collecting the data. Meanwhile, the trader is inputting relevant information on the small screen right by the locker, and with the aid of images or a simple drop-down menu until everything is declared and fully paid for. The reason being to make it more accessible and user-friendly. Additionally, once captured, this information can be shared amongst the relevant authorities between the countries or between private partners in line with pre-established information sharing agreements. The whole idea is to make this leg of this chain more efficient, where people know exactly what to expect when they get to the border, and they do not end up facing either language barriers or any forms of intimidation, which are the common form of operation, which leave female traders more vulnerable in these spaces. The payment system would be linked to mobile money wallets through USSD codes, which I have found to have more penetration in African markets and are easier to manage as they do not require internet connection in the outskirts of towns, which is where most of our African borders are placed. This also makes it more feasible because these operators already have infrastructure and connections where banks do not, and more people have access to these facilities as a result of these mobile wallets having less stringent account opening requirements. As far as creating the lockers is concerned, my suggestion would be to reuse old and dumped cars whose bodies have already been created to withstand tough external conditions and can be remolded into other structures to avoid the additional carbon emissions of creating new metal sheets and transporting them from further out. And this is quite similar to how currently shipping containers are being reused as food stands, sometimes as classrooms. This would be a more eco-friendly solution as we are using ready-made metal sheets, and the land that these cars currently occupy can be repurposed for something more useful. With time, some of the lockers can be converted into mobile lockers, which can be used by the traders as well to get from one end of the border to the other end for those who hitchhike and have to walk between the border areas. Because as a result of normally having to carry these goods on their heads, over time it may result in injuries, which we hopefully try to avoid as a result of the mobility of some of these lockers. To summarize, the goal is to make the cross-border process more efficient with transparent data collection and revenue collection, with especially for small-scale cross-border traders who are not properly accounted for in the systems, and in the hopes of furthering the intra-African trade volumes and values. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alina, for the insightful presentation, and we hope that I think that it can be very useful for small cross-border traders, especially that there are many agreements. So thank you for bringing this on this topic on the challenge. And now I would like to present our next finalist. His name is Johannes Bostalowski from Germany. And his proposal is about alternative fuel for maritime sector and beyond, based on desert land farmed seaweed. So, Johannes, the floor is yours.
All right. Maybe the correction, yes, I am from Germany, but we are presenting from South Africa. So I live here and so on, but that aside. Yeah, CH4 has the objective to decarbonize at large scale the hard to abate sectors. That is primarily shipping, but it will also be aviation and others. At the base of this is three well-established technologies, as a matter of fact, which is farming of seaweed, using that as biomass to produce biogas, and then upgrading the biogas into biomethane and biogenic CO2. And the biomethane is ready to be used as either liquefied natural gas LNG, or some will call it LBM, liquefied biomethane. Or we are working also on using it as compressed gas for harbor tugs and fishing vessels, which would allow, especially developing countries, easy transition into green shipping corridors. The biogenic CO2 that we're producing, which has been removed from the ocean as part of the photosynthesis, will deliver the carbon atom that's needed in the green hydrogen sector to make any type of e-fuel that is not ammonia. And that is important because whilst ammonia is gaining traction in the shipping industry as alternative fuel, it doesn't have the energy density. So particularly reaching island states will become an issue, because most vessels won't have the reach to get there, and the islands won't have the fuel supply to get the vessels back. So we'll have the higher energy density fuels available. Long term, we also see sustainable aviation fuels and so on. Importantly, we farm an indigenous species. So this seaweed is available around all the shores of the globe. And it means that whilst we can co-digest the likes of sargassum and so on that are as pests somewhere, we don't need to use an alien species for biomass, which those cases of using alien species for biomass always means either I'm successful in combating the alien species invasion and I'm losing my business case, or I'm successful with my business case of creating energy, which means I continue having the invasive species. We are using a local species, and it's also compatible with the green hydrogen sector. It's compatible with the kelp farming. We can co-digest that. And with the co-digestion, that's also how we will be able to get this solution into the island states to produce there as well, over and above just Africa, the Middle East, and Southern America. Now, in terms of SDGs, we're particularly, our core value is the life underwater, so SDG 14, and removing the CO2 from the ocean means that we're reducing ocean acidification and eutrophication, as well as by providing jobs here in the West Coast in South Africa, where we develop this. We will significantly reduce poaching of marine resources by providing jobs at large scale. Then it is not just neutralizing CO2, but the fuels are cleaner. So we're removing particles, NOx and sulfur, making the overall emissions healthier as well. Whilst it isn't the direct aim to provide energy to the people of Africa immediately, long run, yes, but we will have plenty energy available on site that we can disperse to the surrounding communities. We're providing salaries, which allows people to buy energy in first place. It will be the way how Africa, who has been identified as the next place to produce alternative energy, how it can evacuate the energy at all, struggling with transmission in general. So that is where we then partner with the green hydrogen sector. Then we are very much aiming at providing what we call enabling salaries. So not just a living salary, but we want people to get rid of their debt, create property, and afford education to their kids as well. So with all of that, we're working closer towards the just energy transition. We've designed this all around community involvement. So the communities will be upskilled to work on site, and we're going into rural communities where there is no other economic opportunity, largely because there is no pre-existing infrastructure. We will bring all infrastructure with us and thereby also create the opportunity for other SMEs. Now, we have secured investment through a fishing, through someone that comes from a fishing family down in Cape Town. So they have recognized the writings on the wall and diversification and sustainability and blue economy and how all of that works together. Together with them, we are now building our testing facility this year in Q3. And we've already got partnerships on the go to go into piloting thereafter in Namibia. We do believe we're going to get the first large-scale production, likely Namibia, maybe in South Africa. And then ultimately, we're looking at scaling to some 18,000 kilometers of low-lying desert shores. Why desert? Because we don't want to, we won't want to impact on arable land. So we don't want to impact negatively on food production. And it's also areas that are not under civilization pressure. What you can probably see on the picture on the right is not just in red the areas where we can scale to, but you also might see in yellow the vessel traffic. We are able to produce in direct vicinity of 5 of the 9 global shipping bottlenecks. And producing in Africa will then also improve trade activity, because providing these fuels that are highly sought after in shipping will draw in more vessels into the ports, which on the global scheme are underperforming. So by virtue of being able to supplying the fuels, we will improve trade activity. Now I've got here a QR code if you want to download a whole deck, because we only had 5 minutes. I've got more on commercials and much more on technology and everything there, as well as you're always welcome to contact me as well. Yeah, and I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much. We'll actually be asking all of our speakers if you will oblige to send us your presentations so we can upload them on our website. And if they're longer presentations, it'll be perfectly fine. Thank you so much for your presentation. And now we're going to continue with our fifth proposal of the day. And I'm very happy to see that Gadi has also joined us. So we have not only one, but 2 representatives of the group Ailer that are based here in Switzerland. So we have Mariana and Gadi, and they offered us a proposal on smart containers supporting supply chain sustainability efforts. Thank you so much to the both of you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and I hope you can see my screen right now, and thank you for this chance to be among the finalists. I'm very thrilled to share actually our contribution to the resilient and sustainable supply chain, and also to stand here on behalf of my team, on behalf of my company. And you know, we are in this point in time, as Jan was mentioning before, and also our colleagues, when we can't ignore the environmental issues. We must reduce our emissions. We also need to think how we produce smartly, and definitely supply chain is a key contributor in a bad and a good sense to these developments. We want to be part of this great move of being able to improve our environment, to contribute to SDGs. And therefore, I would be happy to discuss with you the features of our innovation. It's a product and the service at the same time. We are an interesting combination of different factors together. So first of all, we are smart composite container manufacturer and lessor with a headquarters in Switzerland, production in Europe, and the global spread. I don't know if you know the term smart container. it's kind of a big hype during the last 5 till 10 years, I think. But what actually smart container is, from the first glance, it's very hard to recognize any change in this steel box that happened during the last 60 years. There are companies that, although doing kind of integration of digital technology devices and sensors that can upgrade the regular steel container, we in Ayla rethink the whole concept of the box. Our container is made of recycled composite material and has embedded solar energy supported IoT systems. You see, I need to say it loud and slow in order to follow all the components we have inside. We want to enable the real-time visibility on goods and their movements. Composite materials give better insulation and minimize temperature and humidity jumps inside the container. Smart structural design of the box keeps container in the appropriate and approved ISO dimensions, but enables higher payload. In a simple way to say, a same box, but more cargo inside. Stable environmental conditions inside the container and higher payload reduce the operational costs, time, emissions, and of course, waste. At the same time, we are convertible in a smart flexi tank. And also here we provide the box which can be safely filled up with more liquids without the risk of bulging or cargo damage. And all this under the strict IoT supervision. So what have I said right now? We have a higher payload, we have designed insulation inside the container structure and better aerodynamics that contribute to CO2 emission reduction. More goods in one box equal less boxes, less traffic, and less pollution. Insulation that is part of the design and structure of the container saves extra insulation materials, and this means basically no extra insulation materials production, less recycling needs or waste, or also extra costs. I was telling about the IoT and digitalization. Definitely, it's part of the smart container terminology. And all of these described features of the physical box, you can see together with the quality of the transportation on the user-friendly platform, so-called control tower. Visibility on delays, on times of arrival, damage of the box or cargo condition monitoring, related measurements of the temperature, humidity, and other parameters drive the smart and proactive operations and decision-making within the supply chain. It increases also the client satisfaction. Smart door locking mechanism helps to avoid illicit goods trafficking and helps to identify theft attempts and also different types of unauthorized activities. So basically, if we go and sum up what I just explained, Ayla Container contributes to the circular economy by using recycled materials for container production. It reduces the emissions and waste caused by insulation materials. It contributes to reduction of fuel consumption by its own design, enabling higher aerodynamics and payload. Our digitalization is powered by solar power and the great mind of our talents. I have presented you multiple diverse components of our solution. Our products and our services are also like our people. We are all very daring, innovating, and positive. We are using smart technology for smart decisions, and we are welcoming you to join us in this mission. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mariana, for this interesting presentation. And yeah, it's a really very groundbreaking solution for containers. So now it's also my pleasure to present the next finalist, and actually the last finalist. Her name is Cristina Martin. She's from Spain, and she is the CEO of Usicom. And her proposal was about a blockchain and artificial intelligence platform to impose digital logistics corridors worldwide. So, Cristina, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for select all those amazing projects. It's super happy to see that we are not alone thinking together how we can evolve supply chain. And this is wonderful. And those kind of challenges help to see what is happening around the world in the different parts of supply chain. So first of all, thank you so much for giving this opportunity and to do it possible. So I'm Cristina, I'm CEO and co-founder of USynchro. Mainly, I have been working in logistics for more than 20 years, suffering a fragmented process firsthand. No, so in order to make some context, the problem is that there are many stakeholders, not only private stakeholders like importers, exporters, forwarders, ocean companies, airlines, ports, airports, insurance companies, banks, but also there is public stakeholders in each country, customs authorities, sanitary authorities, and this data transfer and document sharing among all the stakeholders, that each one has its own system, and those systems are disconnected, is a nightmare. You have an inform that estimates that the 20% of the transport cost is due to this inefficient process, no? That is paper-based with tons of emails and disconnected, no? So we decided to build a platform that synchronizes all the stakeholders, but thinking global. That is, the solution cannot be in only one country. We need to collaborate together to build global solutions that, being collaborative with other local solutions, can make supply chain more resilient, no? Our platform is multimodal because at the end, the shipping line didn't arrive the goods to your destination, and the plane didn't pick up the goods from your warehouse, no? So it's a combination of transport mode that needs to be transparent. Also, nowadays, the data is gold. So the data governance is in hands of our customer. This is something super important. We have been thinking about the data governance, the semantic of the data, in order to be also the systems interoperable. Because if not, there are going to be several platforms in different countries that are going to make this almost more difficult to connect in between each other, no? And the platform is completely open. The customer decide if they want to connect to other solutions to make the puzzle work for their business. So is the customer the one who decides which is the mix of technology combinations that they need, okay? So using the platform, we reduce the 30% of the transaction cost, the 60% of time spent handling and coordinating the shipments, and also reduce the 80% of paper. So we have been working in that for 6 years, and we work from the beginning with blockchain and artificial intelligence that nowadays are trendy, but 6 years ago it's not so direct to see that this technology are going to be the perfect solution for the supply chain pain points, traceability, transparency, automatization of different manual tasks, no? So to highlight some of our solutions, we are, well, inside our platform, we can make electronic documents to avoid paper, or for example, we can issue electronic EFPL, not only from the electronic document, but also connected the digital identity of each one who handles the document that is also based in blockchain. Well, working with authorities, we have developed artificial intelligence neuronal networks to suggest statistic codes for customs clearance, to detect anomalies in between documents and declarations, also to see double-use goods for military and civil purposes. So technology can help us to have a more transparent global trade indeed. And for example, for perishables, we are working with infrastructures in order to see what are the goods that are entering or going out their facilities in order to help us to help customers to develop business abroad. That this is something also important, because nobody is going to use technology because it's trendy. They are going to use technology because they have the business efficient process and make business together. And also we have shown that interoperability is possible. We have been connected with other blockchain platform in Egypt, that is CargoX, in order to show that we can collaborate together. That this is, I think, the key word worldwide. But well, let's say our operational people is not very technological, so we need to help them. And we have managed to streamline this by doing digital corridor. A digital corridor is a shipment between two points with all the stakeholders connected. But of course, we cannot do it alone. We have signed agreements with global associations, with different associations of stakeholders, importers, exporters, forwarder, in order to help us to open digital corridors in between different countries to show that we can streamline the flow. So we have managed to sit in the same table in order to push these digital corridors forward. So we have digital corridors for pharma products, for sea shipments, air shipment, pharma products, and like I said, also for disaster humanitarian digital corridors, sustainable digital corridors by using, for example, the train in order to get out from the road tracks and to help customers to save and to develop business together. So thank you so much. Collaboration is key and supply chain moves the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. I see all these applauding hands coming up. Really amazing. Now up to me to announce the winner. The winner will be announced. We have more than 130 people watching. It is being recorded. I think we are all winners by being able to listen to you and by having this shared, recorded afterwards, all to learn from you. We have had proposals from more or less advanced in its development stage, more local, more global, from Pacific Islands to landlocked countries, from cross-country cooperation, Switzerland, Spain, Netherlands, Kuhne Foundation, on communication technologies, local communities, cross-border small traders, decarbonization with carbon fuels, smart containers, blockchain, really amazing. Again, very motivated. So the winner has been selected by the jury, Pamela Maria Sabrina Bismarck, Hidenobu, Thomas, and Jan. So thank you also. The winner is a person who has provided a solution, innovative, novel at early stage of development, which aims at formalizing the informal sector. We are very, very happy to provide the winner with the plane ticket to Barbados from Zimbabwe. Congratulations, Tadiwa. And I think the next is then that Maria will present the highlight of the winner. So a lot of applauses and hearts coming up. Again, there could be many, many winners. I think we are all winners. And let's be very happy. We can only have one. Congratulations. Very, very heartfelt. Congratulations from all of us, Tadiwa.
Yeah, and I wanted also to give a little surprise because actually when we were receiving all these amazing proposals, actually reading with the 77 proposals were really interesting and was a very tough decision. And that's why we decided to open a second category of proposals. So we split the proposals in two. One's from individuals. That is the one that was the main purpose of the challenge. But we also received so many from private sector companies, and some of them have participated today. That is why we opened a second category. This will be more nominative because we couldn't fly both winners, but both are winners. And the second winner for the private sector entities proposal is Usicron, Cristina Martin. So congratulations also.
Thank you so much.
And of course, you're welcome to Barbados. And yeah, so we are really very happy. So do you want to give, I don't know, we want to give a small speech or something?
Well, for me, as I said in my presentation, it's a huge opportunity to show everybody what we have been working in during 6 years. Also, we can collaborate together on the finalists because are different solutions for the same purpose, for IoT, for working with containers. So I guess that we are all winners, but this is a huge opportunity. So thank you so much for that opportunity. And we encourage everybody to talk after that and to see how we can collaborate. That at the end, I think is the main goal for that.
Great, thank you so much. And as actually before finishing, and I don't know if Tadiwashi, do you want to give some words?
Yes. First of all, thank you. I am absolutely humbled to just have gotten the opportunity. First of all, to get this far.
Your
I realized
camera is still off. If you want to still smile at us, was so great to see you. If you...
No, she's there.
We see her. Yeah.
okay, sorry, I didn't. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
have to put the camera different.
Okay. Just saying, I'm very humbled. First of all, to have made it to the top 6 and to actually win. Thank you very much. And to everyone else, everyone's innovations are so cool. I was literally watching, listening, and I'm thinking, okay, this is very, very innovative. And I do hope that we all get the opportunity to all make an impact in our own little ways from our own corners of the world. And long term, I think we're good on the supply chain side. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so
Excellent.
much. Yeah, just before closing, I will give the floor back to Jan, but I wanted to highlight that between the 6 finalists, we have many women represented, and it's good. The proposal was very gender balanced, so we can see that this is a joint effort between everyone, and it's everyone's business to get supply chains greener, efficient, sustainable, and resilient. So, Jan, the floor is back to you for the closing remarks.
Right. We are 4 minutes late. Everybody has many other things to do to continue to be innovative. Nothing more to add, really, just a huge thank you to Pamela and Maria, who have led this, to the jury, to all those who participated. And I hope to see many of you in Barbados. We will have every 2 years from now on our forum. We will announce in Barbados where it will be in 2 years and then in 4 years. So there will be more opportunities. Nothing more to add than a big thank you. Congratulations to the 2 winners and to all of us. Thank you very much and have a wonderful morning, day, evening. So happy to see the connection from so many time zones. So have a wonderful day and evening and next days. Thank you so much.